Melissa. I work 12 to 16-hour days, Monday through Thursday, sometimes every other Friday. I work in the emergency room and I'm having a hard time planning a meal plan that is quick and easy for me to do throughout the week. I want to start a plant-based diet and options here at work are slim pickings, unless I bring all my meals for the day. My issue is I get overwhelmed with how or where to start and never do it. Where or how can I make quick, simple meals during the work week for less stress? I need less fuss and grab-and-go meals for 4 to 5 days a week. Thank you for all your help. Love your videos, Melissa D. Okay, this is a fantastic question, and this is a real challenge. It's difficult to work full-time out of the home. This is actually more than full-time hours, and still be expected to prepare healthy meals for yourself while avoiding all of the convenient junk food options at work. So I'm gonna help you out with this today. Before we get into the video, I thought I would do a really quick bump date. Baby girl is 32 weeks and she will be here very soon, which I'm very excited about. And this is a brand new series that I'm doing called Dear Melissa, where you can email me your question in the form of a written out email, an audio file, a video file, and anything pertaining to weight loss with low calorie density or switching to a whole food plant-based diet. And I'm gonna give you a dedicated, comprehensive video answering your question. So if you wanna email me your question, it's melissaalexandria01@gmail.com. But in this video, we're gonna focus on take to work lunches and simplifying all of this that she has written out in her email. And I'm also gonna share with you 5 really easy, low calorie density, oil-free, low-fat lunches that you can take with you to work if this is also your scenario. All right, so I am going to be referring to my notes for this one. I just want to make sure that I answer your question as completely as possible and give you all of my best tips and tricks so that you can be successful with this. Okay, so one of your concerns was that it's going to take too much time to learn to prepare meals. So while it may seem like the first couple of weeks you really are having to put a lot of time and energy into figuring out what meals fill you up, what you enjoy, what's easy for you to cook, and what you need to get from the grocery store in order to fill your fridge, freezer, and pantry to make these healthy meals. Once you create the routines and you get into the flow of it, you will cut your time in half, maybe even more. So just be aware that it's not always going to be like that. When you're learning something new, it does take time, but once it becomes a habit and you learn your own little hacks and time-saving tricks, you will get into the flow of it. And I am going to share with you some of mine, but just know that it's not always going to take as much time as it does in the first couple of weeks. So push through that period and just know that in a couple of weeks, you will be more in the flow of this. You'll have established routines and you won't have to worry about stressing about what to eat, and you'll know that you're eating healthy, delicious, filling meals. Okay, so in your email, you said that you wanted to go plant-based. I'm not sure if weight loss is necessarily your goal. So if you're just concerned with eating healthier and going plant-based, 3 really easy lunches that you can make are 1, sandwiches. You can use Ezekiel bread, the healthiest bread that you can find. You can get some of that and you can put avocado, you can make your own hummus and you can put that on the sandwiches. You can add sprouts, sliced Roma tomato, onion, sliced cucumbers, and you can make really delicious filling sandwiches. Secondly, you can take all those same ingredients and you can get healthy wraps and you can make wraps to take with you. Making wraps without cooked ingredients, so if you're just using these raw ingredients that I just mentioned, that will take you no time at all because there's no cooking involved, there's not a ton of cleanup, you're not washing pots and pans, so you can easily prepare that in 10 minutes and have lunch for the next day for yourself. The third option is the night before you can make pasta. Take pasta with broccoli, zucchini, corn, peas, onion, and season it with your favorite spices and take that with you with some tomato sauce. You can find relatively healthy tomato sauces at the grocery store. Just check the ingredients that they haven't added a ton of sugar, oil, or any other junk to the pasta sauce, that it just contains tomato and spices and herbs. So that's something that you can take with you that's super easy to make. And I actually recommend using frozen vegetables to save yourself even more time. So just get some big bags of frozen peas, corn, and broccoli. warm that up on the stovetop with a splash of water, and then make your pasta, which usually takes about 8 minutes to boil. Add some of the sauce, put it in a glass container that you can take with you to work and microwave, and there you go. So there's 3 easy plant-based lunches that you could take with you that aren't salads, that are very filling and satisfying, and won't take you a ton of time to make the night before. So you can just put them in your fridge, and in the morning take that with you, and you're ready to go. And if you're concerned about the lunches not being filling enough for you, a really easy tip when making plant-based meals is adding beans. Black beans, kidney beans, lentils, chickpeas. These are going to fill you up. They are super healthy, they're full of fiber, and they just add an oomph to a meal that otherwise might not be filling if it's just based on vegetables. So if you can add, that's why I said adding a dip like a hummus that you make at home, add that to a sandwich that you're making, or add that to a pasta dish, add that to the wraps that you're gonna make, and it will add a little bit more substance to that meal. And this is also very inexpensive to do because depending on where you live, you can get a can of beans for like 50 cents to $1. All right, now we're gonna move into weight loss. If weight loss is your goal and you want healthy plant-based lunches that are gonna help you lose weight but still keep you full, then I got you covered. First, I want you to keep the following things in mind when building your lunches or any other meal on a low-calorie density plant-based diet. Now, low-calorie density just means that the food is dilute of calories because it contains a lot of water content and fiber, neither of which contain calories. So the first tip is no oil. Oil is almost 4,000 calories per pound. It's such an easy little tip that you can start implementing right away, no matter what your diet is. To remove the added oils from your diet is going to remove a lot of the excess calories that you're consuming. And honestly, there's so many replacements for oils. Often you can use water to saute vegetables. That's what I do to saute my onion and garlic and all of my vegetables, and they still taste delicious and do not contain the fattening oil. Next, we want to stay away from vegan processed meats or processed cheeses. Almost all of them contain a high level of oil. You can check the package. And if not, they contain ground up cashews or blended up nuts, which are also very calorie dense. So next on the list, we're gonna avoid creamy and oily dressings and sauces. I know you might be disappointed about this because a lot of the times people go plant-based and they'll get their veggies and they'll just completely drizzle tons of these creamy, fattening dressings all over it, and it's really adding quite a bit of fat to that meal and not necessarily helping with their weight loss goals. Next, we want to avoid added nut butters and nuts. Now, these are healthy foods, but they are very densely packed with calories per bite, so we want to skip that in our meals and in our recipes. No dried, packaged, processed foods like muffins, crackers, granola bars, protein bars. These foods, while some of them may have a lot of healthy ingredients in them, they are dehydrated. And when you dehydrate a food, meaning you've removed the water content, you've baked it, you've fried it, whatever form of cooking that you've done to it, you have removed the water and now it is more densely packed with calories. So if you can just focus on the whole natural food instead of the dried packaged processed food, you're going to be eating foods that are less calorically dense, meaning they have less calories per bite of that food, which is in fact saying that you can eat more of them and still consume less calories. So you're still getting full and satisfied, and you're going to reach your weight loss goals much more easily without being hungry. A tip that I like to share with my coaching clients is to focus on wet foods. It's just something to keep in mind. If something is dried out, like raisins or dried banana chips or pretzels, crackers, things that are dried and dehydrated, those are going to be more densely packed with calories. If you focus on foods that are wet, like whole fruits, like vegetables, whether raw or cooked, or mashed potatoes with all that steam, those foods are full of water, and fiber. So again, they're lower on the calorie density scale. And I like to say we're gonna focus on foods that are under 700 calories per pound. That is the weight loss category there. If you want, you can eat as much of those foods until comfortably full and still lose weight, because it's almost impossible to overeat on them. So that's just an easy little tip to keep in mind. When you open up your fridge, freezer, and pantry and you're going to put together a meal, make it consist of wet foods. All right, so I'm about to get into the 5 low-fat meals, but one last tip for those of you who are making food to take with you to work. If you have a fridge at work, I highly recommend keeping several bottles of your favorite low-fat, oil-free dressings at work. So even things like a healthy ketchup. I have a ketchup here that I really like. It's made of vegetables, and it's literally tomato puree, apple puree, carrots, butternut squash, spinach, vinegar, salt, allspice, and onion powder. So there's no sugar, and it's absolutely healthy and low fat. So keep these things at work. Keep a bottle of soy sauce or tamari sauce. Keep some lemon or lime juice in, like the concentrate, in a bottle, so you can sprinkle that over whatever it is that you're eating to add some more flavor to it. You can also keep some balsamic vinegar, apple cider vinegar at work. So you have that all there with you, and it's just an easy little trick so you don't have to carry that back and forth with you every day to work. All right, finally into the meals. This is not about gourmet recipes. These are just easy things to prepare that you can take with you that are healthy and filling. All right, so the first easy lunch is a baked potato or baked sweet potato with one type of vegetable and one type of beans. It could be one large baked sweet potato with some sliced baked zucchini and some seasoned chickpeas on the side. You're gonna put that all together in your meal prep container. And the nice thing about this is that you can make several of these at a time. You can make 3 or 4 of these, so you've got lunches for the next couple of days, or if you get hungry and you want a snack and you're at home and you don't feel like preparing anything and you don't want to reach for the chips or anything unhealthy, you can go and microwave one of these that you've already prepared in advance and snack on that, and it's super healthy. A lot of the times when people go plant-based, they're all excited to be super healthy, and the first thing that they go for is salads. They just think salads equals healthy, so I'm just gonna make a lot of salads. And salads can be fantastic, but a lot of the time if you're just including dark leafy greens and, sliced carrot and tomato, that is not going to be very filling. Those things are incredibly low calorie density. They're, anywhere from 100 to 200 calories per pound. So good for you, so full of water and fiber, but there's something missing, and that something is the starch. We want to include cooked starches with our meal. So that's going to be your rice, that's going to be your barley, your quinoa, your millet, your potatoes, your sweet potatoes, your oatmeal. So you want to make sure to include your starches in your meals if you want to have that satiation. You want to be full for a few hours after this meal. And we're also going to include the beans to really add to that satiation. I like anything that is a simple formula. So this is just a really simple formula to remember when making lunches. If you're out of ideas and you're thinking, I'm in a rush, I need to prepare lunches for the next few days, wash some potatoes or sweet potatoes, put them in the oven, get your veggies and get your beans, and it could be a can of beans. You don't have to make them in your Instant Pot or on the stove. Just buy canned beans, rinse them out, take a cup of that out and put it into your meal prep container. Those 3 things, add all your favorite seasonings, and there's your lunch. And again, if you take your ketchup with you to work, or you have your ketchup at work already, put a drizzle of that, maybe a drizzle of sriracha, maybe you want to put some lime juice and some garlic powder, some chili flakes, some smoked paprika to make it a little bit more exciting. Do that. Go crazy with spices. I encourage that in order to make you enjoy the flavor of the food even more. All right, my second lunch idea for you is one of my all-time favorite plant-based, low-calorie density meals, and this is something that you can make a big batch of, and I encourage you to do so, and again, have meals for the next several days. And it is to make a sweet potato, black bean chili, and serve it with rice. So delicious. You can make a variation of this. If you're not a fan of black beans, you can use kidney beans, you can use lentils, but I absolutely love this, and I'm gonna link the recipe in the description box below. You don't need to have an Instant Pot, but it really helps to have an Instant Pot because you can literally just put all of your ingredients in, shut the lid, put the timer on, and not have to stir it, not have to check the stove. And again, you're a busy person, so that's just time saved that you can spend doing something else. I just want to remind you that it is so important that you enjoy the food. I love that you want to be healthier and that you're switching to a plant-based diet. That is fantastic. However, I don't want you to feel that you have to copy exactly what someone else eats in a day. So if I recommend a certain meal and you think, but I don't like sweet potatoes, I like russet potatoes or Yukon Gold potatoes, then use that. And if you don't like ketchup, but you like something else, then use that. I really encourage you to get creative with all of these amazing fruits, vegetables, beans, legumes, and spices, and come up with creations that you genuinely enjoy. And something that you can do is once you have your favorite seasonings, you can kind of use them in several different meals. For example, I like mixing lime juice with soy sauce and garlic powder and mango. So I'll take my frozen mango chunks, thaw them out, and blend that up. Now I can use that same flavor for a salad dressing, or I could use that same mixture to add to a rice and veggie bowl, or even on a potato dish. So once you kind of find what works for you, you will get into the flow of it, and you can just do these things on repeat, and it feels like making meals is just something that you can do on autopilot. I know I said what I said about salads, but our next meal is the exception, and this is going to be a starchy salad. Unlike salads that are just based off of dark leafy greens, these are filling. So you're gonna be including cooked barley, you're gonna be including beans, legumes, you're gonna be including rice if you like, or a potato. You could slice up sweet potatoes and add the little chunks of sweet potatoes to your salad. It's really important to include those wet starches in the salad in order to keep you full. So I've got a couple examples here for you. You could do barley strawberry salad with miso vinaigrette. Another option is you could make quinoa chickpea salad with dandelion greens and grapes for added sweetness. And a third option is you could make sweet potato chickpea salad with mango and lime blended together as the dressing. So that's just something really easy to keep in mind. I do recommend when you're taking it to work, bring a separate little container for the dressing so that everything doesn't get mushy, by the time that you eat it. All right, our fourth option is so easy, and I love it, and I have this all the time, especially in the winter, and it is soups. Particularly blended soups. And I'm gonna share with you why, because this is a major time-saving tip. When you make soups, what takes the most of your time? Chopping up all of the veggies into tiny little pieces. If you're chopping up celery into tiny little pieces, and then you've got to do the carrots, and then you've got to do the onions, and then you've got to do the zucchini, and it just takes a long time to chop everything. So if you make blended soups, you can just wash the veggies, chop them into big chunks, put them in your pot or put them in your Instant Pot with the water, add all your seasonings, and then once it's cooked, just blend all of the ingredients and pour them all out into your glass containers or bowls, and you're done. Allow it to cool, pop them in the fridge, and you've got lunches or dinners for the next few days. And it's just so easy, and I just love creamy, warm, delicious veggie and bean soups. And again, I do encourage you to add the beans in there for satiation. One that I really like is ginger carrot potato soup. I just find that is so flavorful. And some spices that I like to add to my soups, just to give you some inspiration, are smoked paprika, garlic powder, onion powder, dill, curry powder, cumin, and sometimes I like to add liquid smoke, which gives the soup a hickory flavor. I also add that to my chili dishes as well. All right, the fifth very easy meal that you can take with you to work that is going to help your weight loss and be delicious and filling is a veggie rice bowl. Okay, this is so easy to meal prep, and I do this often. What you're gonna do is you're going to batch cook your rice. You're gonna make quite a bit of rice. You might wanna do 5 to 6 cups of dried rice so that you have rice for several days. And then you're going to take frozen veggies to save yourself time. So you can get frozen edamame, which is high in protein and I love. You can get frozen, and make sure you get the shelled edamame. And then you can get frozen corn, frozen peas, frozen broccoli. And then you are going to put them all into a pan or a pot together, and you're gonna add about half a cup of water, and you're gonna maybe put the lid on for a few minutes, turn the stovetop on medium, and just allow them to basically warm up. And then you're gonna get your beans. You can get chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, lentils, whichever you really enjoy. And then you're gonna rinse them out, and you can warm them up on the stovetop if you're going to eat that lunch now, or you can just keep them cold until they're ready to be eaten. And then you're going to just get your glass container and put a bit of each of them in here with your favorite seasonings. Another very easy, very filling, and delicious lunch. And there you have it. 5 easy lunches that you can prepare that will fill you up, that really don't require you to even follow a recipe. They're just formulas that you can kind of plug into place. So you can just say, all right, now I'm gonna choose my starch. Today I'm gonna choose quinoa. Now I'm gonna choose my bean. I'm gonna choose chickpeas today. Now I'm gonna choose my vegetables. So I'm gonna choose broccoli or zucchini. And there you go. And you're gonna open up your spice drawer, get creative with your favorite spices, and call it a day. You're done. It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. All right, the other part of your email said that you don't know where to start and that you've intended to start and just feel like you can't just get started. And I totally can relate to that feeling. Sometimes it's just easy to have someone tell you step by step exactly what you're supposed to do. I've written a 5-step action plan for exactly what to do so that you have absolute clarity and you can let go of the overwhelm. Step 1 for you to do today is to open your fridge, pantry, and freezer and get rid of any tempting junk food, any quick convenience foods that you are likely to reach for. So if you have a tendency when you're busy to just reach for the frozen pizza, put that in the oven and eat that because you just are overwhelmed and you don't want to think about what to make, you want to eliminate that option so that you are basically forced to eat the healthy food, because if you have these easy convenience foods available, it can be really tempting to just consistently reach for them when you are overwhelmed. So only you will know what those convenience foods are for you. They might be the vegan cheeses and the processed plant-based meats. They might be chips and, fattening dips that you just reach for and you go for that all the time, and it's just not healthy and it's not in alignment with how you're wanting to eat moving forward. Maybe for you it's cakes and cookies and, whatever it is, you have to be honest with yourself. I know it's challenging when you live with other people and they have their favorite treats at home and you are trying to avoid eating those things. But it's gonna make your life a lot easier if you could at least identify 2 or 3 of your biggest temptations, and especially when it comes to convenience foods that you tempt to reach for often. And if you can eliminate them from your home, you're gonna make it a lot easier for you to stick with the healthy foods and focus on that. So that's step 1 of your action plan. Step 2 is to get some good meal prep containers. Now, I am not someone who is about telling you to go out and spend a bunch of money on things that are not necessary. These are very necessary if you're preparing food from home and bringing to work. So I recommend glass containers. I do have these circular ones, but I find that the lids crack like crazy. They're all broken, and so they're just not the best in my opinion. But if you can find some where the lids don't crack, then by all means. But I like these rectangular meal prep containers with the airtight lids. They're dishwasher safe, and I just use them every single day, even though I work from home, because I still prep my meals to save myself time and energy. I bought these in, I believe it was a 5-pack from Amazon, and I will link that in the description box of this video. All right, step number 3 on your action plan is to create a simple 10 to 15 item list of grocery essentials. These are items that you always have on hand at home. Now, this is so important because if you don't have what you need to prepare your meals at home, then you're much more likely to reach for the junky foods. So you want to make sure you have what you need in order to make your healthy meals, because if you don't, then what are the odds that you're going to want to get in the car, drive for however many minutes to go and buy your potatoes and come all the way home? You're just making life harder on yourself. So I'm going to share with you an example, and you can use my list if you want to. You can copy that, that's absolutely fine. Or I encourage you to actually make your own list of the foods that you genuinely enjoy eating so that you can make some really simple meals to take with you. So here's my 10 item list quickly. A big bag of potatoes and or sweet potatoes, rice, at least 2 types of beans. So chickpeas, lentils, kidney beans, black beans, any beans that you really enjoy. Number 4, a big bunch of bananas, at least 10. Now don't worry if you think that the bananas are gonna go off and you're not gonna eat them in time, because once they get spotty and ripe, you can just peel them, break them into pieces, put them in a container, and then put that container in the freezer and use those frozen banana chunks to make smoothies or to make vegan banana ice cream. Number 5, oatmeal. I recommend old-fashioned oats or steel-cut oats. If you have to use quick oats, you can, but they are more calorie dense. Number 6, a bag of frozen fruit. Now, if you look in my freezer, you will find about 6 different varieties of frozen fruit because I just love having them on hand. So I like frozen cherries, mango chunks, peach slices. I get the mixed berries, I get the blueberries, which I put in my oatmeal a lot, and pineapple chunks as well. I just love having frozen fruit at home. Sometimes I will just pour some of each bag into a bowl, let it thaw out on my countertop for a while, and then have that with a fork just as a snack. Or I'll blend them into frozen desserts, like thick shakes. I will have them in my smoothies, and I just love them. Number 7, bags of frozen veggies, broccoli, peas, corn, edamame, etc. Number 8, your top 3 favorite spices. So obviously it's best if you could have all of your favorite spices always on hand, but at least if you identify the top 3 that you're most likely to use in several different types of dishes. So for me, anything sweet that I make, I like to add cinnamon, and most of my other dishes, I like to add garlic powder and chili flakes. So those would be my top 3. Number 9, at least 1 raw, fresh veggie. Now this is great to use in dips. So you could buy bell peppers, you could get celery sticks, you could choose carrots. I just love to dip these into bean dips, and that's something that you could take to work with you as a snack at work. So you can make a hummus dip, or you can make a black bean dip, and add all your favorite spices, add a handful of spinach, blend that all up together, and dip your sliced raw veggies into that, and that's a great work snack to take with you. Number 10 is a big box of dark leafy greens. Now you can use this to make your salads. You can also add a handful of it to your smoothies. You barely taste it when you blend it all up with the fruit, and you're getting a great dose of dark leafy greens and just super, super healthy. Number 4 is to batch cook and meal prep. Now, if you've ever thought that doing this needs to be very complicated and you need to make things gourmet, maybe you've seen other people do their meal preps and it looks so beautiful and you're like, I want to do that, but like that's just going to be so much time and energy. Just let that all go and focus on what you need for your life. So the lunches that you enjoy eating that are filling for you. Don't worry about making the food look so beautiful that you're gonna post it on Instagram and be so proud of how pretty it looks. That's not your focus right now. Your focus is on, getting fed with healthy food at work so that you can get on with your day. And so in order to do that, meal prepping and batch cooking can be really helpful. It can be as simple as just making a batch of rice, washing and baking 4, 5, 6 sweet potatoes in the oven at once, Or, something else that you can do is prepare your smoothies the night before. So if you're having a smoothie for breakfast, you can peel the bananas, you can portion out how much spinach you're gonna put in there and how many blueberries you're gonna put in there, and put them into little containers so that when you wake up, all you have to do is add the water to the blender and add all the contents of the container that you've already prepped to that blender, blend it all up, and drink it and go. You could even bring it with you and drink it on your way to work. Step 5 for your simple action plan for going plant-based is to assess what's working and what's not. Look, it's totally normal if after a few weeks you decide, these certain meals I've been making haven't been filling me up enough, but these ones over here I've absolutely been loving, so I'm gonna make more of that. You are going to have to learn as you go, tweak things, and customize this all for your lifestyle and for what works for you. And just remember, if you quote unquote fall off plan, that's nothing terrible. You can start this over again. You can watch this entire video over again and get reinvigorated and start again. So if you find that you do this fantastically for 4 or 5 days in a row, and then on the 6th day, you end up eating some chips and you end up drinking some sugary soda and whatever it is, and then you feel bad about it and you feel like, oh no, I've let myself down, I've fallen off, this isn't gonna work for me. Start again, take a deep breath, forgive yourself, and just choose the next healthy meal option. Start with the meal ahead of you. Don't worry about having to stick with this perfectly for the rest of your life, because that's just way too much pressure to put on yourself. Be proud of yourself for all the accomplishments along the way, all the healthy meals that you create, and I hope this was helpful for you. If you did enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. And if you have a question for me that you would like me to answer in depth in a video, you can email me at melissaalexandria01@gmail.com. I do also offer one-on-one Zoom coaching sessions. They are hour-long sessions. And so if you're interested in booking one of those, you can send me an email as well to let me know. And I will also put the direct booking link on my website in the description box of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.